Bienvenidos a un nuevo episodio de Tráfico Visual. Soy Ileana Ramírez. Welcome to a new episode of Tráfico Visual. I'm Ileana Ramírez. Seguimos con Let's Speak Up, una serie de entrevistas dedicada a artistas, curadores e investigadores que reflexionan sobre temas como la migración, el territorio y la identidad. Este proyecto forma parte de la residencia que realicé en 2025 con el apoyo de Pro Helvetia. Today, I'm joined by Swiss artist Mimi von Moos, who lives and works between Basel, Switzerland, and Mulhouse, France. She shares how an abandoned synagogue on the French-Swiss border became an independent space for contemporary art and community engagement. A lo largo de la conversación, hablamos sobre la historia judía en Alsacia, las fronteras, los legados coloniales y el feminismo, así como los desafíos de sostener una práctica artística y una labor de gestión cultural desde una posición crítica. Through her work and this independent space, Mimi reflects on questions of memory, identity, power, and belonging, connecting local histories with broader contemporary debates in Europe and beyond.
Hello, my name is Mimi von Moos, as you said already. I live in Basel and in Mulhouse, which is in fact just the two cities next to each other. One is in France and the other in Switzerland. I'm quite activistic on one hand by trying to make a transformation of an old building, which was an old synagogue on the French side, but very close to Basel. And I want to transform that with a group of people into an art space. This is one thing, and the other is that I work quite conceptual, research-based, very interested in also the history of my own family, and photography is also a big topic.
Yeah, actually, you're an artist and you work with different media in different formats. Yeah. And as you mentioned, like photography, but also writing is part of your practice. And you mentioned something that I find really interesting is the location of this place that you are renovating. Have you been running as a director for a few years? The synagogue is located in a very special place that is kind of by national, like by within different borders. It's actually in France. It's located in France, but next to Switzerland. How do you see it as an artist? I mean, if you can mention a little bit more as your work as an artist, and when did you find this interest for running a space, for renovating, like opening up a space for art and to share this, not just for you as a studio, but also a place that has a lot of relevance to the community?
Well, I think it began in the art school. I was first the half of my life I was in fact a jewel designer, and with 40 I decided to study art, and I loved the art school. I was so happy there. I really loved this kind of space where you can discuss things, where you really can dive in topics, and this kind of protected space for artists. I always find that something so precious. And in fact, from after graduating, I made a master there. I began to be engaged for this to maintain this kind of space for artists, but also for art lovers. And so that was the synagogue. And I think I have this fable for for beautiful spaces also. I love spaces, and I think always in spaces. Everything I do has to do with space, of course. It's normal for artists, I think. We always see the atmosphere of a space. Or also the landscape is also a very beautiful space. So I'm always busy with this kind of different spaces. And the synagogue I discovered by chance, and was immediately in love with it. It's just a very particular space, or how it's shaped, and it's very particular where it is situated, because it's exactly at the border on the French side. It's in fact on the periphery of Basel, which is a kind of artist hub. There are so many artists, and there are so many art venues and museums, and it's a bit, sometimes if you live here for a long time, it's a bit too much, And there are as it is in a society, there are also hierarchies, and there are power games. There are, I think, also if an art scene is so crowded, there's also a lot of frustration in a way, and a lot of tension, and I don't like that so much. So I'm a fan of the periphery. I prefer to be a bit outside and to feel free. And this space, the synagogue, is really for me a space where you feel this freedom, or this power also of these possibilities, or this potential of art, if the art can be discussed freely. And
so let's talk about in Switzerland, being a Swiss citizen. So it's like you can have the opportunity to be outside, because you already know how it works inside, within this specific frame. And maybe from your early age, maybe if you had a space, or if you had another way to raise your voice as an artist, as a creator, also I don't know, to make visible other kind of works and voices and artists. So I don't know if you feel it like that, how, because you have also your activity or your practice as an artist, but we were talking earlier that this kind of work to run a space, to take care of it, consumes a lot of your time, a lot of your spirit, emotions. It's super exciting, but it takes a lot. So, but I see it also as part of your life. It's like a super connect. It's like a unicity of everything.
Yeah, it's true. It's a big challenge but it's also a big interest, a great interest to enlarge, in fact, the possibilities. Again, it's a way of enlarging the possibilities. I mean, the mental, or the awareness, or the perception possibilities. And maybe in Switzerland, what I find a bit difficult is that the people look more inside their own country. They are more focused on their on the structures and the relations they have with each other, and how to gain some importance or influence. And it becomes a kind of narrow-minded and a bit self-centered system, which I'm criticizing, in fact. It's as well politically, but also in the art spheres. I'm a bit disturbed by that, and I find it also very pity. It's kind of very pity, because there's one world, and the art discourse should go over the borders, principally, should always do that. And you should really look far beyond the borders of your nation. So, and therefore I think this is activism, and therefore you have to fight, because you get also a lot of resistance.
And talking about these different factors that may resonate in your own work, in your own practice as an artist, is something very politically relevant when you talk about these kind of opportunities, how narrow or how it can get when it has to do with, especially in the art field.
Yeah, well, it's interwoven, definitely. I mean, to be engaged for this space is also it requests a lot of creativity, in fact, and a lot of communication. I mean, it's I don't make so much the difference. For me, it's in a way also an art project, and then there's also, of course, a lot of research about the building, and I was quite flabbergasted about the fact that no one knows, and also me, I didn't know, that there was a huge community of a Jewish community in Europe. The biggest in the 18th century was in the Alsace. No one knows that. No one talks about it. I find it. That was really a discovery for me, which I thought that's crazy. And if you see then this aspect of the Jewish influence in Europe, which is kind of ignored, voluntary or not, then you change also your perception on the place where you live, because you see this different influence which you didn't see before, and so I made some works about that, of course, because I find out how also the language in the Alsace is influenced by the Yiddish, these kind of things, and why there is such a big cemetery of 7,000 graves, a Jewish cemetery in Hegenheim. Hegenheim has not even 5,000 citizens, but there is a Jewish cemetery of 7,000 graves.
Wow.
From the 18th century as well. And also, why is there such a big synagogue? Why? I mean, that's so interesting. And then to understand the landscape differently, because suddenly you realize, the half of the population of the village was Jewish, and these Jews were working in Basel, and they walked every day over the border to go to work to Basel and came back, and it's quite impressive, I find it. So, and then if you research and you find out how the Christians were quite hostile to the Jew, and how that shaped also then the Zionism. I mean, the idea of Zionism. Theodor Herzl, he came also from there, and then you find suddenly out that many Jews which were spread in the whole world had their ancestors from Hegenheim and surroundings, and also the whole watch factory, for example, which is now situated in the around La Chaux-de-Fonds in the Jura in Switzerland, is in fact also created by the Jewish community in the Alsace, and especially in Hegenheim. And then I find out that in front of the synagogue there was a watch factory. This building on the left side is a watch factory, and then you find out things, and there's a whole world is opening up. And then you find memoirs. I find memoirs of Jewish childhood in Hegenheim and all this. So I made some artistic interventions with all this material I could find around this synagogue. So.
And do you incorporate maybe those materials, those found elements also to your work, to your project? And that take me to ask you what have been the learnings. I guess also that to learn the porosity of the borders that is this space that's very liminal, very subtle. That's why I think your work is not separated from what you do as a as a manager or as a cultural promoter, or I don't know, but as an artist too.
Well, I'm exploring the landscape very much, and I did some works with the remindings of the Jewish culture, just by making some interventions in the landscape, for example. But then it's not stopping just at the Jewish history. I'm also very interested exactly in the consequences or the situations which are created by the border. I mean, like the Jewish situation is also at that time was also created by these border rules, that they were not allowed to live in Switzerland, for example. So they just used to live behind the border on the French side. But of course, in fact, they wanted to live in Basel, but they were not allowed. I mean, there was a law that they were prohibited to live in Switzerland, that only 1866 they got the right to settle in Switzerland, and from then on all the Jews went away from Hegenheim, and so everything, the whole history is shaped by this nationalistic idea, which I also, of course, put in question a lot. Also, because it's about migration history, and if you investigate a bit on this border, you find out that, for example, the asylum seekers are also on the border, and that in fact everything is put on the border, which you want to ignore, which you don't want to see. And also, if you are a person who is crossing the border all the time, you are also in a way involuntary. You feel always a bit on the edge of legality, even while I have all the rights. I can cross the borders all the time, but I'm confronted with people who cannot just cross the border. For them, I'm confronted to people who really have an existential problem with these borders, you know. And then I think to be busy with this reality of border landscape, helps you to understand understand the world. And that's in fact at the end all my motivation is driven by this desire to understand the world.
It's good what you're saying, and also even in a country like as small as Switzerland, but it's surrounded by many countries, and I think it has to, you have to learn how to share, how to be more open, how to be more accessible, to support each other, to be sufficient, to self-independent, but at the same time having the notion of collaboration, commonality. But for your work as an artist, and also as a person who is involved with the arts, how do you see it from like 2 decades ago from now, that all the efforts that you are doing on your own, but do you see a change in the landscape of the participation of people, also the narrative that are approached as in the arts? It's like these topics are getting more in the conversations, or there's some actions that have been taken from the institutions, the schools, foundations, I don't know, people who has the authority also to promote. Do you think there is a change, that there's more sensibility, or still is there's a lot to do.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to do because, of course, now we have departments at the university for decolonization, and of course, what we are talking about has a lot to do with the colonial past, which is still a big topic for Switzerland, for example, especially, who is also prophetizing a lot of these kind of structures, and the whole Europe is prophetizing a lot of these structures till today. And I think there is, I mean, it's now on the agenda, on the cultural agenda, all these problems, but I do not really. It's just a very big topic. It's very big, and I think we didn't. The majority of the artists and of the people of our society, they didn't got it yet. How big this problem is of racism, of exploitation, and it goes over directly in the fields of how we deal with the nature, how we exploit the nature. That's also how we exploit so-called third worlds or underdeveloped countries. That we begin to understand that this is so, that has a function, that the underdeveloped countries are underdeveloped, and that this has to stay like this. But I think we didn't got the whole picture yet, and how severe the injustice is, and this injustice is really leaded and how do you say? Gesteuert, how do you say gesteuert in English? Run in a way by Switzerland, especially by Switzerland. You have all these companies, who are running these companies abroad in Africa and in South America, everywhere, and this is not internalized. I mean, this is not really in the discourse yet. I'm missing this.
I think you have this big opportunity to see both sides of the story, because you're also very critical of your own environment.
Yeah, well, that's another other line of my work. I'm at the moment very busy with colonialism, also the heritage of my family, where this certain mindset was always given over to the next generation till today. And we also have to understand that this is really inherent in our culture, this kind of this idea of superiority and of being allowed to just burgle other nations, other countries. And we have to understand that if we give up this, if we put this in question, we really fundamentally put our whole cultural heritage in question. So that's fundamental. That's really going on our identity. And there it becomes serious. And I think, it's basic, yeah. And I think that this is exactly where then people say, oh, no, that goes too far. No, I look away. I prefer to look away,
Do you see yourself? Do you feel yourself as a kind of a political incorrect type of person here in Switzerland, where you, at the moment to talk and to express your ideas, even with your family or your more close
Yeah,
circle?
of course. Yeah, I'm
Why do you think you are like that? I mean,
I
why?
don't know.
Like a rare avis.
I don't know, but I'm really, I feel like a person who stepped out of the circle and looking from outside and is, I'm really upset about what I see, and not only upset, I'm also very sad about it, yeah. I don't know.
But do you think there can be some change in the future, in the near future? How do you see it from your own art, like your own practice, and also as a like having this responsibility with the synagogue and the projects that you see forthcoming? So, what do you like to do? What would you do?
Yeah, if I would know. Sorry. I'm really in this phase of feeling vulnerable, because I'm really stepping out of this identity which I share with my society. And I don't know where this will lead me. I honestly don't know.
And as
an artist also.
Yes,
I
yes.
really don't know what will be my next work. I'm really searching.
Okay.
Because I was in Africa. I was in Kinshasa for 3 weeks. I'm in a group of people who are investigating. The others are more scientists. I'm the only from the Swiss side, the only artist. And so we are really sensibilized for this problematic of colonialism, and also Congo is also really it's a huge country which has been exploited, in fact, from the West, from America and Europe, since more than 150 years, systematically. I mean, that all the raw materials, the important raw materials, come from there, and especially today, the lithium, the best lithium, and the coltan, and this material we really need for our computers, for our smartphones, and also for the electricity we need for the batteries, for the solar panels, for the cars which shall be electric now, and all this comes from Congo, and at the same time the Congolese are very, very poor, and many people are just hungry. It's total misery. It's really not it's not acceptable, the situation of the Congolese people, and it's really, I mean, it's the responsibility of all of us that it is like this. Yeah, but so I saw that, and I understand that there are so many people who are not doing well on this world, and I see the responsibilities of our states on it. You don't make politics with art, that's for sure. But to act differently also in art. I mean, I think art was till now often also very colonialistic, and it was kind of celebrating the superiority, you know. And so therefore I feel concerned as an artist, so how to overcome this, or how to act differently. And I think in art you really the consequence of this question will be that you cannot only think for your society. You cannot just look inside like the Swiss do. As I said at the beginning, we have to really think over border, and we have to also consider that there is this other side which is related to us. We have to consider that in our thinking. And this is a learning process. We have to learn that. We just have to change our habits. But I don't know if we will make it.
And as a Swiss woman, as a Swiss artist, and also concerned about all these situations and issues that this society, the world is going through. What is your perspective compared to women that are coming from other places, that have different backgrounds? Because you're very critical, so I like to know your point of view. Also, this research has to do with one of these questions. It's like, how is the system treating and approaching to the needs of women in the arts?
Yeah, that's of course also interwoven in this whole colonial questioning. I think we cannot decolonize without also deconstruct the patriarchal system, because this is one, and that has, of course, that goes directly together with feminism. Yeah. So, and I think that has changed a lot, at least here. We are maybe a little step further with feminism here in Europe. I remember that when I graduated my master in 2012, the expert criticized my work by saying, this is feministic.
Like an insult,
but it was negative. And I said, hey, I'm just a woman, and it's just normal for me to have my female perspective. It's not even, I didn't find it that it was, my work was especially feministic. It was just, what can I do? I'm a woman. I mean, I made some imprints with my body, and he found that is feministic. I said, yeah, I made an imprint with my body and I'm a woman, so what's the point? Come on. So that was, and I think today that would not happen anymore.
Okay, like there's more tolerance or more understanding.
Yeah, there's more understanding, and there's more tolerance and acceptance of
to recognize that this is part of the discussion.
Yeah,
it's not
and that was really, at that time, was still quite put by side. Feminism was at that time, really, it's difficult to believe that, but it's 20 years ago, feminism was completely out in the art, or 15 years ago.
Yeah, and I just want to thank you.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for this very nice and great opportunity. It's a privilege to have you here. And thank you, Mimi, and good success with your next projects. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Gracias, Mimi von Moos, por compartir tu historia, y gracias a todos nuestros oyentes por acompañarnos. Recuerden que pueden encontrar este y todos los episodios del podcast en nuestra página web traficovisual.com y en su plataforma de preferencia. Hasta una próxima entrega.